in the stillness. In this sacred space, God is all there is. And we carry this knowledge, this wonder, this sacred space with us throughout the entire day. Wherever we are, God is. And so once again, we come together as in unity, in oneness with the divine and with each other for purposes of spiritual practice that we carry throughout our life each and every day. And so we grow, we know something new, we expand, we open our hearts and our minds to know something that has never been revealed to us before. And so we are grateful for this time that we share, grateful for this time of love and this time of knowledge. We just let this go, knowing it is done, and so it is. Before I get into definition, etc. today, I just wanted to do a check-in with everybody, and because we're at the 1 week mark today of doing the practice, and wanted to check in and see how everybody's doing. Are any aha moments, anything coming up for you, not just necessarily here, but later on during the day as you reflect on what's happening? Or have you noticed a shift in yourself? Anything at all? Does anybody want to share or make? Michael?
What I am aware of is just how focused and clear I am. Like today is focusing on trust. And so how that plays out every day, how that word, how that focus plays out every day, through my experience. And I know it's because I'm focusing on that and know that, but it's just profound to see it show up in such wonderful ways around me, not just within me, but around me.
Okay. Spring, is there anything you need to share?
Yes, I find that it's a progression for me. I'm getting back into meditation that I have kind of fallen out of. So I find myself actually doing the activity of the practice of the day, usually by the next day. For some reason, at this point in time, it's taking more, deep whatever to like trigger something, usually during the night of that day, and then I act on it the very next day. It's kind of weird. I know it's a progression, and I know I'll get back in sync with it happening on that day, but it's definitely progressing, and it's definitely keeping up. It's just, sometime in the next 24 hours is when it happens.
Okay. And Sandy, go ahead.
Well, I know I'm a latecomer, but last night I sat down and I read through the whole program, and I just felt so much comfort in touching on the different elements that we are focusing on. And today being my second day, I really feel uplifted and connected, and like something had been missing and I found it again. Thank you for doing this, Eileen.
Oh, you're welcome. I would like to make, sharing, if somebody has an aha moment during the course of the day, don't be afraid to bring it up the next day or share with us, because you're sharing, somebody else may already feel the same thing you are, but are hesitating to say it. Or what you share, Sandy, may have an implication for me. Oh, I want to do what Sandy's doing, or I want to see if that helps me. And so don't hesitate to say, Eileen, I'd like to share. Because I want to make that, I wanted to get us into the practice before I opened it up for a lot of discussion. So, Crystal, would you read the definition for us this morning?
Let me unmute us. Definition: assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something. One in which confidence is placed, a charge or duty, imposed in faith or confidence, or as a condition of some relationship.
Sandy, would you do the quote for us?
I will, and I really like this quote. The highest attitude of mind from which all else springs is one of perfect calm and absolute trust in the spirit.
Yeah.
Creative mind, Dr. Holmes.
Yeah.
And I especially like that it says trust in the spirit.
That's kind of, I think, why I picked it out, Sandy, was because of that simple segment right there, because that's it, to me, it all reverts back to that trust in God. Peggy, would you go ahead and read us the Bible?
From Psalm 143, verse 8. Let me hear in the morning of your steadfast love, for in you I trust. Make me know the way I should go, for to you I lift up my soul.
Okay. So obviously the word is trust, and the affirmation for the day is I trust my own decisions. And so often we don't get to that space of trusting our decisions. And so when I was making the affirmations up, that's why I put that in there as today's affirmation. The practice is create an evening or bedtime gratitude journal. And again, the good old dollar store, I have just a little itty bitty, it's about 100 pages long, small little booklet that's $1. And years ago, when I first moved to Chico and I was struggling so much, I started a gratitude practice in the evening, because I began to realize that when I focused on gratitude, my life began to shift. And so when I just would write down 5 things that I was grateful for that day, and it was just a simple, I'm grateful for, the phone call from my friend. I'm grateful for the hot dog I had for lunch, whatever it was. Sometimes I was struggling to come up with 5 things that I was grateful for, but it really began to have a major implication on my life, because gratitude was the last thing that I went to sleep on. And what I began to realize is what I was grateful for and what I expressed gratitude for was what increased in my life. So go ahead and, if you don't have a journal, use some, just a binder paper will work, that you can keep track and keep a running, but start writing it down and holding on to that. Okay, so this morning's journaling is, it was a time when trust was all I had. And so we'll go ahead and begin now. Okay, bring it to a close. And I forgot to do the reading before we did journaling this morning. So let me go back to that and then we'll talk about what you wrote. Years ago, an old lady down south had no money to buy food, but with complete trust in God, she got down on her knees and prayed aloud, dear Lord, please send me a side of bacon and a sack of cornmeal. Over and over again, the old lady repeated the same plea in a loud voice. Now, one of the town's worst characters, overhearing her supplication, decided to play a trick on her. Hurrying to the nearest store, he bought a side of bacon and a sack of cornmeal. Upon his return to the cabin, he dropped the food down the chimney. It landed right in the front of the hungry woman as she knelt in prayer. Jumping to her feet, she exclaimed jubilantly, "Oh Lord, you've answered my prayer." Then she ran all around the neighborhood telling everyone the good news. This was absolutely too much for the scoundrel. He ridiculed her before the whole town by telling how he had dropped the food down the chimney himself. The wise old woman quickly replied, "Well, the devil may have brought it, but it was the Lord who sent it." So how did you do with the journaling this morning?
Good.
Anybody want to share what came? Sandy, go.
So I realized, for me anyway, it seems like there's a choice that I go through, which is either fear or trust. And I wasn't able to come up with a time when I was in full trust, but out of doing this, I'm finding a decision to pay more attention and awareness of when I do trust, so that I am aware of it, because of course I do trust, but it's not something I've given any attention to.
Yeah. It's funny because that's kind of what I wrote about too, Sandy, was that fear, and trusting somebody that I may not even know to keep me safe or to help me in a given situation. Thank you. Anybody else want to share?
I'll share. Oh,
Okay. And then
I
Terry. Go ahead, Crystal.
I wrote about like becoming a parent and how I was really scared because I was a single mom, like having my first child, but I just knew, and I had that trust in myself that I had enough love like to pour over into my children, right? Like I knew I could do it. And I don't know where that came from, but it was like I knew I had enough love to help bring up children that were going to be amazing and beautiful in this world. And so I even talked about how when the boys were little and they would get like really just unruly and be like, just, they'd be sad or hungry or cranky or whatever was going on with them, and I didn't want to be like this disciplinary parent. I really had a calling to just love them through that. And so I kind of created this thing called I'll Kiss Your Face Off. And now it has morphed into finger in the armpit, but because Victoria prefers that over a bunch of kisses, but it is that shifting, right? That shifting from we're in this really negative place. Let's get out of there and create a space to just be happier. And when the process is over, they're happier, I'm happier. We don't have to leave this very tumultuous situation and just be like, okay, that's it. It's really more about just loving the hell out of them.
That's right.
I'd like to share, if I may.
Hold on a second, Spring. Terry was next.
Okay.
I actually didn't know what I was going to write about. And I wrote about when I was in the hospital recently after I broke my femurs, and I was waiting for the doctor because they called it trauma. So I knew I was on my own for a while. And I was in a dark room and I laid there and went into gratitude. And through that gratitude, I just trusted that everything was going to be okay instead of going into fear of, oh my gosh, what's this mean and what's going to happen next. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, Spring.
I was focused on the first definition of trust, and so that took me into when I was having to have my second breast cancer surgery on the same breast. It can't come back, and I had a different surgeon, a much more matter-of-fact, less friendly surgeon, and I trusted her ability, because she was such kind of a perfectionist, to remove what was necessary to remove and no more. I trusted in my own survival going in and in my breath that it would continue to happen throughout the process. And all the things that, technically had to happen. And then I trusted at that moment in whoever was going to help me to pull out of this, including my husband and friends and family. And I trusted in my own spirit to deal with the loss in a different way than I had the first time. I didn't know what that meant. And then in the strength, my own ability, my own character to find the horse or whatever in the manure pile and to be able to speak my own truth without apology when I came out of it. And it was a totally different experience. And reliving it now, it really has been a totally different experience.
Thank you. Thank you to you, Terry, too. Yeah, I hope that as you recall situations when you're doing your journaling, that there are aha moments, and which you just spoke about, Spring, how there's been a shift, and that's the aha moments that we have when we start to trust our subconscious to share with us what we're supposed to see at this moment, right here, right now. Because that's what I find about journaling, is what comes up is amazing sometimes to me, because I trust that what's in my subconscious needs to finally be expressed or said. So with that, who hasn't shared their prayer yet? Who has not shared their prayer? Crystal hasn't shared her prayer. So Crystal, would you go ahead and close us out today with the prayer?
Yeah.
Crystal, you're on mute. If you're praying for us, you're on mute.
So funny. Okay. All right, are we ready? Everybody ready?
Yes, we're ready. Thank you.
I am deeply grateful for the abundance of loving energy that flows through through me and fully radiates through my heart out into my family, friends, community, country, and state. I hold this in truth, and so it is.
Beautiful.
Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow morning.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Hasta mañana.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, Katrina. Hi, Katrina.
Oh, there's my baby.
Hi.
Yeah.
Katrina. Oh my gosh. She's so cute, Terry.
She's
Even if
such
she is a
sweet
little
girl.
terror.
She's a sweet
Hi.
girl.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Now you see, Sandy, why we couldn't leave her in New Mexico.
Hi.
She's just the sweetest girl.
Isn't, look
She's
at
so
who
sweet.
is it?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
You're a
there's another
sweet girl too. You're a sweet
You
girl
should
too.
really come
Oh
to
my
our
Yes.
house.
Sweet girls.
Yes.
Where's
there
my
we go.
cat when I need her?
We all have our little piece of craziness.
Yeah.
Hi,
We
everybody.
have a little chihuahua.
Yeah.
Yes,
Dog.
you do.
Yeah.
Okay, see everybody tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye for now.
And you should see our doggy Tinkerbell at our house sometime.
Oh.